Please be seated. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences Commencement Ceremony. My name is Jeffrey Arrington, and I serve as our Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education. Our banner carrier today was Miss Catherine Serjewski, a candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering. As we begin the ceremony today, I ask that you take a moment and turn off all electronic messaging devices. Thank you. Professor Scott Weber, Mace Bearer, Senior Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Professor in the Department of Civil, Structural, and Environmental Engineering, will now officially open the ceremony. Professor Weber.
Thank you. President Tripathi, Dean Folks, university representatives, and distinguished guests, the graduates, the candidates for degrees, the faculty and staff, and the parents, families, and friends of the graduates and candidates are now assembled. I hereby declare this School of Engineering and Applied Sciences Commencement of the University of Buffalo to be open.
Thank you, Professor Weber. Please stand for our national anthem. It will be sung by Miss Kristen Smajelski, UB graduate student in the Music and Performance program. Miss Smajelski will be accompanied by the Buffalo Brass Quintet. Please be seated. We will begin the 2016 commencement ceremony with our first student speaker, Sarah Jo.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarah Jo Kratz, and I'm a graduate student receiving my master's in biomedical engineering today. I want to start off with saying how proud I am of everyone sitting here in front of me this afternoon. Whether you're receiving your first degree, your second degree, or even your third degree, you have accomplished something phenomenal, and from this point on, your lives are going to change forever. I moved to Buffalo last August after graduating with a biomedical sciences degree from Auburn University in the state of Alabama. Born and raised in Georgia, I was very fearful and intimidated to move 1,000 miles away and begin a new academic program. I remember after orientation, I called my parents and I was bawling. I told them I didn't know if I could do it, and moving here may have been a mistake. After listening to me break down, my father said, "Sarah, you know what I always tell you." Of course, I huff and say, "What, Dad?" And he said, "If it were easy, everybody would do it." And if you think about that statement, it is so simple, yet so true. If it were easy, we would have hundreds or even thousands of more people here with us today. The path we took to get here was no easy task. I commend you all for having the determination and the drive to never give up and push through the numerous amounts of hardships that came our way. I want to take a turn and make a comparison to chemistry and life. As we know, a chemical reaction has reactants and products. There's a term called Gibbs free energy that defines the potential driving forces of a chemical reaction. When this free energy is spontaneous, it is defined as favorable and the reaction will move in the forward direction. When this free energy is non-spontaneous, it is defined as unfavorable, either moving the reaction in reverse or having no net change. We should all take a leaf out of this book. Spontaneity can be frightening, but it opens our lives up to new opportunities, ones that may never come along if we stay in our comfort zone. I encourage you all to take risks, move in the forward direction, because our lives are just beginning. If I had not decided to take the leap and move to Buffalo, I would not be standing here in front of you all today. Remember, the world is your oyster. We were put on this earth to make a difference, and I urge you to capitalize on that, because the knowledge we have gained at the University at Buffalo is timeless, and now it is our time to give back. You not only have the support from your friends and family, but from myself and the entire University at Buffalo family here with us today. In the words of Dennis Waitley, life is inherently risky. There is only one big risk you should avoid at all costs, and that is the risk of doing nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Jo. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Dean of the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, Dr. Liesl Folks.
Welcome. I am delighted to be with you today to share in this very special event. I'd like to start the day by introducing several of the distinguished members of today's platform party. Professor Satish Tripathi, the 15th President of the University at Buffalo. Mr. Norman Hayes joins us as an alumnus and the Dean's Award recipient. Professor Gary Dargish, Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Education, School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. Professor Scott Weber, who you have already met, today's Mace Bearer. Vinu Govindaraju, UB's Vice President for Research and Economic Development and Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Mr. Kurt Bessel, President, UB Engineering and Applied Sciences Alumni Association. Mr. Luke Adams, Vice President of UB's Engineering and Applied Sciences Alumni Association. And then, Professor Anne Bazantz, Chair of our Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering. Professor Stelios Andriaitis, Chair of the Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering. Professor Stella Batalama, Chair of Electrical Engineering. Professor Kemper Lewis, Chair of the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Professor Chunming Chow, Chair of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. And Professor Albert Titus, Chair of the Department of Biomedical Engineering. Professor Andrew Whitaker, Chair of the Department of Civil, Structural and Environmental Engineering, and Professor Jeffrey Errington, today's Herald. Others will be introduced when it's their time to speak. I'd also like to recognize the many faculty members who are joining us today, as well as our special guests, Professor Etche Bayat and Professor Kadir Gula from Istanbul Technical University, who are here to celebrate the graduation of our dual diploma program students. It is my great pleasure to offer my warm congratulations to the class of 2006. What tremendous pride we feel in your achievements here today. We extend our congratulations to the families and friends of the class of 2006 that are joining us today to celebrate. I know many of you have flown thousands of miles to share this special day, and I thank you for that extraordinary commitment. Some are here marking a milestone in their family, the first to earn a baccalaureate degree, the first to earn a graduate degree, and we share your pride in this moment. Welcome all, and thank you for the love and support which has played such a vital role in the success of our graduates. Thank you to Engineering and Applied Sciences faculty members who have nurtured the educational success that we bear witness to today, and to the wonderful staff that have supported that effort in a myriad of ways. Students, you haven't just been preparing to lead in your respective fields. You have been actively honing your leadership skills while you've been here at UB. You have been at the very center of much of the research, discovery, and innovation happening in our school. You have broken new ground, not just in engineering, but also in every conceivable field with which our discipline intersects, from enhancing technologies for medicine and healthcare to developing sustainable solutions for the planet. You've taken advantage of incredible opportunities to engage directly in that work, whether by imagining a new re-entry system suitable for the Mars atmosphere, using engineered nanoparticles to help detect cancer, or developing robotic ocean-going ships. Hundreds of you have also engaged in outreach programs in our community, leaving the Buffalo region a richer place, thanks to your dedication to helping others and to leading by example. And, if I may gloat for just a moment, basking in your reflected glory, our students have also been recognized as among the best in the country by winning prestigious scholarships. Graduating today are 3 Goldwater Scholarship winners and 4 students who have won National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowships. This is an all-time high for the university and for our school, for which I commend our students. This is an exciting time to be graduating in the engineering disciplines. As you go now into the world, you will be called upon to make our society a better place. I urge you to be sure you have a voice. Many of you will join organizations that inevitably will have flaws. As newcomers, these flaws might even seem more glaring than to the old-timers. Find ways to talk about those flaws and to suggest improved ways to move forward. Do stand up for the underrepresented. Do work to understand the role of bias and privilege in the world. And do work to improve circumstances for those around you. Do notice where we have negative impacts on the planet and work to reverse them. Do provide solutions for broken systems and processes, because your analytical and creative skills put you in a unique position to change the world for the better, step by step. Don't miss that opportunity. We will all thank you for it. Today, you join a powerful global network of over 240,000 UB graduates and more than 30,000 School of Engineering and Applied Sciences graduates. Those people will become connectors, boosters, advisors, and yes, even employers for you who are graduating today. Know that you can reach out to them and ask for advice or help, and know that they will be very willing to help you because of your shared experience at this great university, today celebrating its 170th commencement. As alums of UB, we ask that you will stretch out a hand to those who are following in your footsteps, becoming a link in an unbroken chain that stretches around the globe and through the ages. Congratulations, class of 2016.
Thank you, Dean Folks. Each year, the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences gives its highest honor, the Dean's Award for Achievement, to someone who has made a substantial contribution to the practice of engineering or applied sciences and/or has had an exceptional professional career. This time, I would like to invite Dean Folks back to the podium to introduce the recipient of the 2016 Dean's Award for Achievement.
It is with great pleasure that I now introduce Norman Hayes, UB alum and Director of Engineering in ASICS and a computer architect. Hayes is a Buffalo native who received a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering and a Bachelor of Arts in Computer Science from UB in 1980. He continued his education at Cornell University, earning his Master's in Electrical Engineering in 1981 on a Bell Laboratory Scholarship. After completing his formal education, Hayes has made substantial technical and leadership contributions to 3 pioneering companies. The first was AT&T Bell Laboratories, where he developed designs and technologies for some of the world's earliest 32-bit microprocessors. Hayes joined his first startup, Sun Microsystems, in 1988, where he developed groundbreaking microprocessor memory management and cache architectures. In 2000, Hayes joined Juniper Networks, where he served as a director of ASIC engineering on several generations of networking chipsets. Hayes has always been an enthusiastic alum. In 1995, he became a charter member of the Delta Society and was named its chairman in 2012. In recognition of his support, an engineering laboratory was named after Hayes within Davis Hall. Outside of his professional career, Hayes plays ice hockey and tennis and enjoys photography and the arts. He lives in the San Francisco Bay Area with his wife Jacqueline and their daughter Elena. The University at Buffalo is truly honored to name Mr. Norman Hayes an alumnus of great distinction whose career achievements merit our highest regard. I would like to ask Mr. Hayes to make a few remarks to the graduating class. Come on up, Norm. I think we're meant to have photographs too.
Dean Folks, thank you very much for this wonderful honor. I've always been a big fan of the Apollo moon landings, a triumph of engineering and technology. Just a few years after them, I was a high school student nearby here, just 1 mile down Sweet Home Road from the Amherst campus. From there, I could see the construction of the campus from our classrooms. I was amazed at the futuristic architecture of the Elkid complex and the grand scale of the academic spine. I could see the commitment to educational excellence and innovation at UB. Next year, I enrolled here, and of course, I studied engineering and computer science. I was a commuter student without a car, so this meant like on a typical morning, I would bicycle from my house in Tonawanda to the Main Street campus for classes in chemistry, physics, and calculus. My calculus professor was Dean McGilvery, and I told him I was impressed. The dean of mathematics was teaching a sophomore calculus class. And they said, no, I'm not the dean. Dean's my first name. And for mechanical engineering, I had Howard Strauss, who was a cornerstone of engineering at UB, served for decades as professor here. Both had maturity, wisdom beyond their classrooms, and were like father figures to me here. And then in the afternoon, I would bike from the Main Street campus to the Amherst campus to study electrical engineering and computer science. And 2 professors that come to mind were Professors Anderson and Javone. Both were youthful, technological leaders with a good sense of humor that made their classes fascinating and lots of fun to be in. And then after that, most evenings, I would bicycle to the Ridgely campus, which was a temporary campus housing the computer center of the university, where I was a student computer consultant. And I met students from many disciplines across UB, including, of course, sciences and engineering, but also humanities and medicine and more. It was a great experience to meet so many different students from so many different schools. But they all had one thing in common, and that was, how do I get this program to work? So that was my job, was to help them. And then after that, it was time to bike home, and since this is Buffalo, it was frequently snowing, but it was great, because biking home at a calm night with the lightly falling snow was magical. It was a nice way to end the day. Anyway, altogether, my experiences at UB provide a solid, broad foundation on how to solve real-world problems, preparation, getting down to the real issues, and passion for what you're doing. This proved invaluable for microprocessors design at Bell Labs and startup Sun Microsystems, and later at networking startup Juniper Networks. The mid-'80s through the mid-'90s was a period of landmark change in computer architecture. RISC, or reduced instruction set computing, was supplanting traditional complex CPU designs. Highly integrated chips allowed tremendous innovation in memory management and performance. Departmental mini-computers from DEC, which were dominant for a decade, disappeared in favor of single-chip microprocessor-based workstations. And this produced an explosion in access to cheap computer power, which in turn enabled waves of startups. In my early days at Sun Microsystems, I was invited to attend an architectural presentation for Sun's proposed first fully integrated processor to Bill Joy. Bill Joy is famous as the lead developer of Berkeley Unix and also the software co-founder of Sun Microsystems, and to this day is a prominent US scientist. However, a week before the presentation, I found ways to dramatically simplify the chip's memory caching architecture. This saved 1 million transistors, then a third of a very large chip, and also, more importantly, allowed us to remove several external controller chips in the system, saving costs and make the system far more scalable to multiple processors. This ultimately enabled Sun's first large-scale server and the roadmap that followed. So then I asked my boss, what should we do about the talk for Bill Joy? And then he looked at me and said, I think you should give it. And I, really? And so I did, and I was just going to attend it. Here I am giving it. And it was a little scary, but it's fun to see his enthusiastic reaction, to see the changes that were being made so quickly in what turned out to be Sun's flagship processor. So these were exciting times to be in the industry. UB's practical approach to solving real-world problems was perfectly suited to that dynamic environment, getting down to the main issues and helping achieve breakthrough performance in these areas. So by 1995, as Liesl mentioned, I wanted to give back to UB, and I was delighted for the opportunity provided by the newly formed Delta Society and proud to become a charter member. That first year included attending UB's first homecoming football game in decades in President Griner's box, along with local sportscaster Van Miller. I hope some of you know who he is. Over these 20-plus years, it's been a rich and rewarding experience to stay connected with the university and the students, of course, within. So now, I'm thrilled to see how UB is growing on both campuses. This includes Davis Hall on the Amherst campus and the Future Medical Center on Main Street, thanks in large part to alumni contributions. UB and Delta have reached out to many parts of the US, including Silicon Valley, where I live now. And I love to ask people there, where's the National Center for Earthquake Research? And everybody guesses Berkeley. I laugh at them. I say, you all know it's at UB. And they're so surprised and very impressed. And so I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing about your developing careers in the coming years through the alumni networks, the UB family. And in the years to come, some of you will be speaking up here at future UB graduation ceremonies, accepting this Dean's Award for achievement, this Dean's Engineering Achievement Award yourself. And you'll have the wonderful experience of seeing the latest UB engineering graduating class as I see yours today. Today, opportunities abound again, or still, I should say. Dramatic advances in renewable energy, transportation, biotechnology, space exploration, and more are underway, and UB is a leading participant. Steve Jobs famously said, change the world. My corollary to all of you would be, change the world, and the world will change you. Thank you. Congratulations. Gongqi, class of 2016.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. I would now like to introduce our second student speaker. Charles Jones is a native of Bear Creek, North Carolina, and a candidate for the doctoral degree in chemical and biological engineering. Charles.
Welcome, fellow graduates, family and friends, esteemed guests, and most importantly, my wife-to-be in 2 weeks, Kaylee. I'm thankful, yes, absolutely. I'm thankful to have been given the opportunity to speak to you all today, and I'm honored to be one of the first to congratulate you for coming this far. It's a very big achievement. Although today is a time for collective celebrations, and undoubtedly is filled with dreams of your future, it also marks the first step into your professional career, or although your parents may put it, the real world. So I am here today to talk about what will be your most valuable resource, shaping your life as you transition from homework and tests to a post-college life. This resource is often taken for granted, yet it has served a direct and pervasive role in our studies and more broadly our lives. At this point, you may have a couple guesses. Is it money? Is it family, friends, or even our problem-solving skills? Indeed, these are important, but time is the most precious resource for you moving forward. This is summarized nicely by a quote from Harvey Mackay that is, "Time is priceless. Time is free, but it is priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. And once you've lost it, you can never get it back." This is interesting because unlike all other resources, we all have the same amount of time in a day. This is the only aspect in our lives going forward that we are all truly equal. Money cannot buy more, and sadly, scientists and engineers cannot invent more. Although this is not for the lack of effort. Thus, the true value of anything can be measured by the amount of time you're willing to exchange for it. As we stand here today, we can undoubtedly agree that our time spent at UB was well worth it. Although this may not be readily apparent, as we progress in our lives and reflect back upon our time here, we will see more than tests and homeworks and the countless sleepless nights we endured. You'll see that your time was being utilized to broaden your perspective and equip you with the right skills to efficiently and effectively accomplish tasks in your future careers. It was through the challenges of conquering your respective programs that we obtained the ability to save time. Well, maybe not in the conventional sense, but we can now be confident that we can overcome any problem or task in a fraction of the time as before. This allows us to free up time for other aspects of our lives that we view more importantly. So as we move forward to face life's challenges, dream big, work hard, but work smart. Plan your day so you don't find yourself as a person who rushed through life or a person who did not accomplish the task you always wanted. Remember that each day is one step towards your dreams, and that time is the coin of life, and only you all can decide how to spend it. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. The competition for the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences student speaker was open to all graduating students. A committee comprised of faculty, staff, and students selected the two speakers you heard today. Both Sarah Jo and Charles will receive a 2016 class ring, compliments of Johnston's and the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. Congratulations, Charles and Sarah Jo. The Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence honors State University of New York students who have been recognized for their integration of academic excellence and other aspects of their lives, such as leadership, community involvement, and community service. Dean Folks will now acknowledge the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences recipients of the SUNY Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence.
It makes me very proud to introduce our recipients of the Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence. Stephen Crawford of Depew, New York, graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering today. Stephen served as president of UB's chapter of Students for the Exploration and Development of Space, which we fondly know as SEDS, and has spent 2 summers interning at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab. Stephen. And Timothy Van Oss of Buffalo, New York, graduates with a Master of Science degree in Civil Engineering. Tim was a recipient of the Western New York Prosperity Fellowship and plans to develop the next generation of iconic structures in the Buffalo metropolitan area. As an undergraduate, Tim was president of the student chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineers, a club he continues to mentor as a practitioner advisor. Tim. Our third recipient, Ming-Kong Zhang of Amherst, New York, graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science. In 2015, Ming-Kong founded Snowberg, Inc., a technology startup company that has been recognized by the New York State Governor and is sponsored by Google, Incorporated. Unfortunately, Ming-Kong could not be with us today as he's taken up a position with MITRE Corporation in Virginia. But I congratulate all our winners.
It is now my pleasure to introduce President Tripathi, who will give his remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to all our families and honored guests. Most of all, congratulations to the School of Engineering and Applied Science class of 2016. As graduates, you will have a permanent place of honor in UB's proud history and our bright future. You will make history and you will shape the future of your profession because of what you learn here and how you will pass that knowledge on to others. Your achievements now and in the future are the outcome of your ethical pursuit of knowledge, inquiry, and discovery. Your embrace of new ideas, new models of thinking, and your commitment to collaboration, intellectual exchange, and dialogue across borders of all kinds, disciplinary, ideological, and cultural. These are the intellectual values we prize above all at UB. They are what we seek to instill in all our students as we prepare them for global leadership in their fields. As students of engineering and the applied sciences, you have lived these values each day. And as alumni and UB-educated global citizens, you will carry these values with you out into the world. As you have learned, engaging with multiple and conflicting points of view is richly rewarding, but seldom easy. This year, universities across the nation have been a site of intense debate about what it means to create and sustain a genuinely inclusive campus environment. Here at UB, for example, we have grappled together with how to negotiate the boundaries of freedom of expression within an inclusive, welcoming academic community. These are difficult but necessary conversations. And there is great and enduring value in them. Exploring difficult concepts from multiple points of view is key to what we do as an academic community. And it is critical to leading and contributing meaningfully in every discipline, certainly the field of engineering. When you establish in your careers and look back at your time at UB, I expect that you will remember above all are the people you lived and learned with here. You will remember the most difficult concepts in your field because you learned them through conversations with peers who challenged you to reach farther, dig deeper. You will remember vigorously debating competing theories and engineering principles with students who saw the world differently than you. You will remember your first internship, where you may have worked with clients from a culture very different from your own. And what you learned by looking through their eyes will continue to guide how you see the world and how you work within it. Together with the concepts, theories, and practical skills you have mastered in the lecture hall, lab, and out in the field, this is what you will take with you into your professional lives. The communities you shape as engineers and scholars will be stronger and healthier for these values, whether that means bringing cross-cultural perspectives into your discipline and your profession, working to create safer, greener spaces that are sustainable and easy to navigate, or collaborating across fields and institutions to engineer solutions to global challenges like climate change and access to clean water. In an increasingly globalized world, we need engineers and scientists like you, collaborative leaders whose perspectives have been shaped by engaging with multiple points of view. Class of 2016, as you prepare to take up the next great challenge in your lives, know that your alma mater is deeply proud of you. And we look forward to all that you will achieve and contribute in the future. Congratulations.
Thank you, President Tripathi.